So we're going to be using the Science Journal app by Google to look and experiment with different light levels. And your investigation could either be inside or outside. It's completely up to you how you want to design your experiment. So why are we looking at light? We are looking at light because obviously light helps to contribute to something called light pollution. And we're going to give you an Atlantic Canadian context for this and why light pollution is important. And in particular, it's a Newfoundland and Labrador context. All has to do with the Atlantic puffin that you see here. So here we see adult Atlantic puffins, and Newfoundland and Labrador is home to the world's largest population of these birds, located at the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve. These little guys, they return to land to reproduce, and after they hatch, this is what a baby puffin looks like. After they hatch, the baby puffin wants to make its way out to sea, where it will float for about 3 years before returning. They typically try to make their way out to the sea during the night. They want to avoid any potential predators, and they use the moon and the stars as their navigation in order to successfully get out to the sea. However, if they experience or see something like this at night, which is the lights from a coastal community, they get confused and they actually go towards these lights and get stranded on the shoreline. They can't move very well on the shoreline, and at the same time, they are away from their food source, which is typically capelin. As a result, their chances for success are pretty slim, and unless they have some volunteers, which we do have some excellent volunteers helping them get back to sea, their chances of actually becoming an adult Atlantic puffin like you see here are pretty slim. So light, we're going to be looking at that. If anybody is interested then as well, this is where you can find the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve on the island of Newfoundland and Labrador.
I am on the Google Play Store. I searched for Science Journal, and this is the app that I need to install on my phone. So you can install it on your iPhone, your Android phone, or even your tablet or your iPad. So just click on install. Okay, so when you open up your Science Journal app, this is what you'll see. So I have an Android phone. This app is available for iPads, iPhones, and it might look slightly different, but again, my phone is an Android phone here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to start your experiment. You're more than welcome to go in and click on that Welcome to Science Journal and have a look around if you wanted to, but we're just going to jump right in now into how we actually start our experiment on looking at light levels. So I'm going to hit the purple plus button on the bottom here, and this is what pops up. So what I always suggest everybody to do is to give your experiment a title. So along the top here, that purple bar, hit the pencil, and now we can give our title. So this is light levels that we're investigating here today. Hit the check mark, and it brings you back to the screen there. So now you have two white boxes, as you can see on mine, and a gray bar in the middle. That gray bar, you can either slide it up, slide it down, depending on what you want your screen to look like. I like having that gray bar sort of in the middle. Now, as you can see, I have the chat option, which looks like a chat option, but that's selected on that middle gray bar. So now if I just click on the white box down below, this is where I can add my observations. So what factors in my experiment are going to affect the light levels that I'm going to collect? So first, time of day, that's important. So maybe I want to put that in. I'm going to put in this 4:46 p.m. in the afternoon, maybe some weather conditions, because right now I'm just going to be looking at some of the light levels and show you how to do it inside, but you can choose to go outside, you can choose to go wherever you want. But the weather conditions and how much light is actually coming through the windows is important. So weather conditions here, it's raining, it's cloudy, and I'm looking out the window and I don't see the sun. You can go back here later on and add any other observations you want. Totally up to you. So what I'm going to do now, if I'm satisfied with some of the observations that I have, I'm going to hit the second option here, which along that gray bar, it looks like a circle with like a jagged line going through it. So I'm gonna hit that. The first option that should pop up is what looks to be a light bulb. So this is what is going to be measuring the light levels that we see. So looking at this is giving us real-time data of the light levels that I'm experiencing right now, standing in front of the window here in my living room. So what we have here is real-time data, but I'm not collecting any of this yet. So if I wanted to collect a snapshot, looking at the bottom gray bar here, you can see it looks like there's a square with a circle in the center here and kind of like a jagged line going through the circle. If I wanted to take a snapshot, just an instantaneous value, just touch that along the gray bar. And as you can see, my observation pops along the top portion here of my screen. So I have a value of 583 lux. For an Android phone, you're going to measure the light levels in lux, and for an iPhone or iPad, it's in about something called EV. You can look that up yourself if you really want to, but basically the higher the number, the more light level for both lux and EV. So I'm just going to hit the top screen here. I'm going to just lightly touch 583 lux, and when that does, it allows me to give a description. So this is a little description. So I'm standing in front of the living room window. So I have some idea of what this value actually means to me. Perfect. Once I got that done, I hit the check mark and it goes back again. Now, if I wanted to take a recording of the values as I'm standing here in front of the living room window, the bottom gray bar, I would just hit the red circle. And as you can see, it's taking a recording of the values for the light level over a period of time. And when I'm done here with that and I want to stop recording, along the gray bar again, just hit the red square that you see here so you can stop recording. And now it becomes a part of my observations along the top here, as you can see. So there's my instantaneous value, a little snapshot. Here's a recording. It gives me minimum, maximum light levels, and it actually gives me the average light level as well. Now, I think it'd be really interesting as well if I want to kind of get more of a visual, so I know exactly what and where these light levels mean. I'm going to take a little snapshot of me right now, or what I'm seeing when I'm looking at my window. So along the middle gray bar, I'm just going to hit the camera icon. And as you can see, I can take a little snapshot, and that becomes part of my observations as well. So I took a snapshot, I took a recording, and I took kind of like a little snapshot value here, 583 lux. And all three of these things are part of my observations for this one particular place for me looking at the light levels. Now, go investigate other areas, maybe look and do some comparisons of natural light versus artificial light. Whatever is up to you to do, or whatever you want to do, is completely open. Okay, so you got your experiment done, you've looked at your light levels, and you investigated whatever it is you wanted to investigate it. Maybe it was indoor light levels, maybe it was outside light levels, maybe it was a combination of both, looking at natural versus artificial light. The investigation was completely up to you. Hopefully now you feel a little bit more comfortable with the Science Journal app, and I'll show you some of the other neat features that you can do and that you can investigate with this Science Journal app. I'm just going to start a new project here. Go to the second option here, my tools bar. So we went to here before, and again, we have ambient light levels. We can also look at sound intensity, and we can look at sound pitch. It looks like it's not working on mine right now, but that's only because I'm using the microphone right now to actually record this screencast. So we can look at those two and take experiment and perform experiments with the sound intensity and the pitch. We can also look at the linear acceleration. So it has a linear accelerometer here. We can look at acceleration in the 3 different directions. So as you can see here, the visual tells you what the X direction is, what the Y direction is, and what the Z direction is in relation to your cell phone or your iPad or whatever you're using right now, whatever tablet you're using for your experiments. It also has a compass. So we can do some experiments using this compass in degrees, and we can do experiments using the magnetometer. And at the end, I do provide a link that you can go to and see some of the different experiments that you can actually use this Science Journal app for. It's a pretty neat app, and hopefully you get to explore a little bit more.